Hello and welcome, folks, to the Anthony Partial channel. And in fact, the Anthony Partial referred to in the channel. My name is Anthony Partial, and among other things, I am a poet, writer, musician, and seeker for enlightenment. So, I keep considering what is enlightenment, and well, enlightenment is basically a psychological state in which all your problems are solved. So it's like a sort of magic pill that solves the psychological puzzle in your head. This is located in the ego mind, which one assumes is controlled by the ego. And so it's sort of like a puzzle one is trying to put together in the ego mind as to how do I make my way in this world or whatever. And I don't know if it's a chemical reaction or not in the brain, in the mind, in the ego mind. It's a sort of thing where, like, say you took all these medicines or whatever they are, and they didn't work for you, and then you found a medicine that worked. If you have mental illness, perhaps. Don't before you accuse me, take a look at yourselves as the wide-ranging intellectual who wants to be able to. Anyway, so you go deeper and deeper with the intellect analyzing the ego or whatever it is, analyzing the stuff that comes up in the ego mind, and well, what forms of yoga are there that I'm aware of? They have Kriya Yoga. I don't know how Kriya Yoga is the yoga of meditation. They have Jnana. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing this correctly, but please forgive me. Bhakti, Karma Yoga, and I think there's one other, but I don't remember what it is. Anyway, so say you get to the end of the path of bhakti, and you say to yourself, well, I know what I want, but I don't know how to get it. Then say you become enlightened then, and your bhakti path and your ego mind decides to sort of cure itself of its ever-present mental illnesses. Would anything really be different? As in, does enlightenment show you what is true and what is not true, or does it merely provide a solution to your out of control monkey mind? Nothing really changes, I would say. I think it's more like you sort of are like, well, I can get what I want. So for a bhakti, I mean, maybe that is it, really. Like, you just finally say to yourself, I can get what I want, Then it doesn't necessarily manifest in front of you. Okay, well, I'm being combative. They're going to ding a little sound on me for being half step uptown to Lou. Mississippi half step uptown to Lou to that, Anyway, so basically the difference is that you can... you then realize that you can get what you want, but you need not search for it. Do you already have it? Well, which is better, sense pleasure or nirvana, right? Or whatever it is, the land of enlightenment, some people call it, whatever it is. So one would assume that if one had this chemical reaction in the ego mind, whatever you want to call it, that things would manifest differently because you would no longer have your various mental illnesses, but would be perfectly sane. This is why, essentially, folks, insanity and mental illness or whatever it is also part of enlightenment. Because as far out as you get from the norm, you're still part of reality. So if you think about it in those terms, you might say that one is already enlightened because one is basically just doing something or having thoughts or whatever it is that are not in line with reality. But the truth is, they're actually perfectly in line with reality. But you may be labeled as having a mental illness or having delusions or whatever. Actually, what's going on is that you're see. Okay, so if you seek enlightenment and you find it, and then the whatever happens in your ego mind, it's not as if suddenly you've reached a psychological state that you can balance yourself on. It's more that you've reached a psychological state that is truly workable. I mean, that's basically how to go, what to call it, workable. Yeah, could that be my band name, Workable, perhaps? But so you don't change. Does the image others have of you change? Again, that's debatable because you have, say, Advaita, not two, right? So even before the Enlightenment, you're way out in left field, right? Maybe if you're diagnosed with a mental illness or something, and you're trying desperately to say, put me in, coach, I can play center field. Or I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make a funny reference, a good reference. Anyway, so you want to get in the game, and it may seem like others are already there. Everybody has it down. But the truth is that they are operating in a very limited sphere, where their type of being matches maybe sometimes just one other being's mode of being. Whereas with enlightenment, you realize that everything has the ground and everybody's walking on the ground. So these people that seem to have it figured out are just you are also skating, as they say, on the thin ice of modern life. Everybody's doing that, but some people have figured out unconscious. See, they're not very conscious of what they're doing. They've found one or two things that work for them, and they just keep doing them. Whereas somebody who seeks is seeking to put the puzzle together rather than to. And of course, if you have a mental illness and it is popped up into your conscious mind or whatever, then it'll be hard for you to fit in. We could even talk about psychology and the relationship between Freud's oceanic state and the phenomenon of the psychic break. I don't know if we should talk about that. It's probably triggering to some of my many, many viewers. So enlightenment, go for it. Thank you.